Are you seeking a better way to accelerate your sales, to scale your business, to live a life with no limits? Accelerate Sales Podcast features global experts who have cracked the code to recurring revenues with proven sales systems and get you on the fast track to scaling. Now let's accelerate your sales with today's episode.
Hello to the Accelerate Sales Solo Podcast, episode number 354. Today's topic is mine your network. You're going to learn two key things. One is the value of mining your network, and the other is an example that I give. If it's your first time to the podcast, welcome. And if you love what you hear, please subscribe. If you're a regular, thanks for your support. I really appreciate those iTunes reviews. If you haven't had the chance to leave one as yet, please do. And it helps other people find this podcast. Please check out past shows on your favorite platform. Just search Accelerate Sales, and don't forget to check out those interview shows as well. Have you been putting in a lot of effort to add people to your network? You might use cold email, you might use LinkedIn outreach campaigns, podcasting, SEO, paid advertising, or a combination of all of those together. I agree there needs to be an emphasis on this, but I do think sometimes it comes at the expense of mining your own existing network. With the recent 100 limit on connections sent weekly on LinkedIn, it really made me rethink my strategy. We're adding about 350 new connections a week, and whilst I reached out to every one of them and helped where I could, some became clients and others I gave value to, whether it be through my list, my podcast, or anything else that I could, find. I wasn't really leveraging my existing network enough. And, I use Copper as a sales CRM, and it shows the interaction dates. And you've probably got a sales CRM that does the exact same, right? And I sorted from the most days, so the most days since I've contacted someone, to the least. And I was just amazed at the quality of people that were in my network that I had completely ignored. Life goes on, and sometimes you get so busy focusing on constantly adding new leads that I forgot to really look at the people I already had. And what about you? Have you ever gone and done a similar exercise, i.e. go back and see the people that you can already work with versus constantly adding new ones? For me, it was easy to look at it, but I didn't realize to really leverage it, right? And what I'll do after this short break, I'm going to take you into exactly what that looks like. So I'd like to talk to you about Book Like a Boss. In short, BLAB, B-L-A-B. I find there's normally two categories of people, so you'll typically fall in one of these two. One is that you've organised your meetings via email, and it may be you or a team member, or the other is that you're using a scheduling tool, so you might be using a Calendly, Acuity, Schedule Once, one of those. And if you're in the first category, life is too short to be playing email ping pong, whether it's you or your team. So why don't you check out Book Like a Boss? And I'll show you, there's definitely a link in the show notes in a moment. It will save you and your team hours a week, believe me. And if you've already done that and you're an existing user of a platform, well, why not check out Book Like a Boss? It's got a great user experience, custom branding, questions. And what I love about it is that it's a simple payment gateway. So you can get someone to book and pay on the spot, which I find very few platforms do that. So why not check it out for yourselves? Go to paulhigginsmentoring.com/blab. So that's paulhigginsmentoring.com/blab, B-L-A-B. So I'm going to show you now an example of how I'm using or leveraging my network. I am pivoting my ideal client to focus more on tech consultants and SaaS partners. It makes sense as, I scaled a SaaS partner business and exited one in 2019. So I've got very current experience in that. So I want to help people more with that. And I have a hypothesis, but I wanted to go and validate it because maybe the platform that I was doing or the work that I was doing is different to what other platforms are like. So I had I have several custom fields in my sales CRM, including expertise. So if you came into my world, I would definitely say, okay, well, this is what you're an expert on. So if someone wanted to get value in the future, or someone said, hey, Paul, do you know someone like this? I could go and say, yes, this is someone I know in that field. And I have about 273 people connected in the SaaS space, right? So that's, out of I think I've got about 2,500 in my sales CRM. So I reached out to interview the people that were in the field tagged SaaS, and I also asked them to introduce me to people that were a mutual connection of theirs on LinkedIn, which, I must admit, I don't do that enough, right? So often we just reach out completely cold, but isn't it nice when someone introduces you? It's so much easier, and I've rarely ever found that someone won't meet with you once you've been introduced by someone. So the power of mining my network resulted in a lot deeper research, and ultimately it's going to give me a lot better offer to serve SaaS partners. So what could you mine your network for? Okay. Could it be research like I've just done, or could it be referrals, testimonials, clients, strategic partners, or partnerships? Please send me an example of what you recently achieved in mining your network. So 2 or actually 3 key actions from today. So one is label your network to make it easier in the future to mine it. 2 is set up a specific project to mine your network based out of some of the examples that I gave then. And the other one is send me an example of how you've done it in the past, or maybe you want to bounce off what I recommend how you do it moving forward. Just go email me at paul@paulhigginsmentoring.com. You can get all the links in the show notes that I've mentioned today at paulhigginsmentoring.com/podcast. So the episode is 354 on the app you're listening to right now. Just go into the notes section. And I also recommend the Pocket Cast app to listen. Also, if you want to get a full transcript, you can also get that at the website as well. Please follow me on LinkedIn. It's where I put out most of my great content. If you know someone interested in mining their network to scale, please share this with them. They'll love you for it, and you can be their sales hero. Please take action to accelerate your sales.
I'm fired up after today's episode. What about you? But hey, before you go, learning is just one piece of the puzzle. Now it's time to put today's strategy into action. Head over now to today's show page at paulhigginsmentoring.com/podcast and share how you'll put it into action. Be sure to head over to your favorite podcast platform and subscribe, rate, and review the show. Tell me what your favorite episode is. And don't wait 1 minute more to gain access to your pulse check at paulhigginsmentoring.com. This could be the difference between struggling to get more leads and making this next quarter your best one yet.